Burkina Faso, a landlocked country in the heart of West Africa. For decades, its name rarely made global headlines, except for war, political instability, and the spread of extremism. But something is shifting. A new energy is pulsing through its streets, and the world is watching. On a bright June morning in Ouagadougou, the capital city, something extraordinary happened. Cameras clicked, drones flew overhead, and crowds gathered as a young man in military fatigues stepped onto a freshly cleared construction site. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the interim leader of Burkina Faso, placed his hand on a smooth stone, the ceremonial foundation for what many are calling Africa's boldest vision yet. A $1 trillion smart city built not by foreign donors, but by the people of Burkina Faso themselves. His voice rang through the air. "My people, this is our moment to rise. Today we break ground on a city that will carry our dreams to the sky." The crowd erupted. On social media, the moment spread like wildfire. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, all filled with jaw-dropping renders of futuristic skyscrapers, solar highways, flying taxis, AI hospitals, and more. Titles exploded. Traoré's Africa 3.0, Burkina Faso breaks the chains, and a new African superpower is rising. But is it true? Is Burkina Faso, one of the world's poorest nations, really building a $1 trillion city? Where is the money coming from? Is it a symbol of hope or just a viral illusion? This is the real story. To understand this dream, we must understand the man. Captain Ibrahim Traoré rose to power in September 2022 through a military coup, the second in less than a year. At just 34 years old, he became the world's youngest head of state at the time. But Traoré was not an ordinary military man. He quickly became a symbol of defiance against foreign interference, particularly France, whose long-standing influence over Burkina Faso, and much of Francophone Africa, had been met with rising frustration among youth. Traoré's speeches were fiery, nationalistic, Pan-African. He spoke of reclaiming sovereignty, building unity, and restoring dignity to African people. He severed military ties with France, expelled French troops, and sought closer relationships with nations like Mali, Niger, and Russia. For some, he was a liberator. For others, a dangerous populist. But one thing was clear. He had captured the imagination of a new generation. So when he stood before a cheering crowd and promised to build a city of the future, many believed him. But belief isn't the same as blueprint. The idea of a $1 trillion city in Africa may sound impossible, even laughable, to outsiders. But let's be clear, cities like Niamey in Saudi Arabia, Konza Technopolis in Kenya, and Wakanda City in Ghana have all made similar headlines. Vision is not rare. Execution is. So where does Burkina Faso's plan stand? According to public statements from the transitional government, there is a multi-decade development plan in motion. It includes goals to construct 50,000 affordable homes by 2029, build a new tech and innovation hub near Ouagadougou, electrify rural regions through solar grid expansion, launch a Pan-African design competition for future city planning, train 100,000 youth in digital skills and green construction. These are real objectives, grounded, practical, and ambitious. But the phrase, $1 trillion city that dominates social media? That exact number does not appear in any official government document. It is, in all likelihood, an exaggeration created through AI videos, speculative blogs, and viral content. That doesn't mean it's a lie. It means it's an aspiration, not a reality. Yet, scroll through YouTube Shorts or TikTok and you'll see it. Glowing cities rising from red dust, skyscrapers lit by the Sahel sun, and headlines saying, "Built in just 90 days by Captain Traoré." But many of those videos are made using AI tools like Midjourney, Runway ML, or Kyber stock footage from other countries, Edited clips from Chinese smart cities, game engines like Unreal or Unity 1, viral video showed a housing development claimed to be gifted to the people by Traore. In reality, it was filmed in Jinan, China, not Burkina Faso. Fact-checkers at PISA Check quickly debunked it. The problem isn't the technology, it's the line between hope and hype. While these videos inspire, they also mislead. And in a world where truth moves slower than fiction, many viewers never see the correction. Despite the exaggerations, the idea behind the $1 trillion city carries emotional and political weight. Why? Because it's a break from dependency, a challenge to the world order that has treated African nations as extraction zones, not creators of future cities. When Traoré speaks of a new Burkina Faso, one where dignity replaces debt, millions of Africans listen, not because they believe in skyscrapers, but because they believe in themselves. Even if the physical city doesn't yet exist, the psychological foundation is being laid. And that's the first step of any revolution. Let's get honest. Grand speeches are inspiring. Futuristic renders look stunning. But what does it actually take to build a $1 trillion city? The answer: unimaginable money. And Burkina Faso doesn't have it. Not yet. Burkina Faso's total GDP in 2025 is estimated to be around $20 billion US. To put that in perspective, $1 trillion is 50 times the size of its entire economy. That's like someone with a $20,000 annual income promising to build a luxury mansion for $1 million tomorrow. Technically possible? Maybe. Likely. Number. And yet, there's a deeper truth behind the numbers. Burkina Faso isn't promising to build a $1 trillion city overnight. What's happening here is the use of visionary language to ignite local action, attract foreign investment, and rebrand the country's global image. The term $1 trillion isn't a literal budget line. It's a symbol of ambition, of sovereignty, of a refusal to be defined by poverty or post-colonial stereotypes. But still, that dream needs money. So the question becomes, here's where things get interesting. Officially, the Burkina Faso transitional government has not disclosed any mega investment deal worth hundreds of billions, let alone $1 trillion. However, several quiet alliances and emerging partnerships suggest where money, materials, and technical support might come from. 1. Russia and the New Axis. Since 2023, Traoré's Burkina Faso has strengthened ties with Russia, breaking away from France and traditional Western donors. In July 2023, the country signed defense and energy cooperation agreements with Moscow. Though no mega-city deal was announced, speculation remains that Russian companies may support infrastructure or mining operations to fund local development. 2. The Sahel coalition, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have formed a regional pact, the Alliance of Sahel States, vowing mutual defense and economic cooperation. There's talk of shared infrastructure, cross-border highways, digital railways, and agricultural zones. If pooled wisely, this could lay the groundwork for small, smart cities, even if a full-blown megacity is still out of reach. 3. Private African investors. Some African billionaires and tech entrepreneurs have quietly voiced interest in investing in projects that counter Western narratives about African underdevelopment. Think green tech, modular homes, fintech hubs. While the scale remains modest, there's real potential here. The people themselves crowdfunding, diaspora investment, and community construction initiatives have taken off in recent years, particularly through mobile platforms. In 2024, over 700,000 West Africans contributed to small housing co-ops via apps like Traore, Bazara, and AfroPay. The lesson? The money might not come all at once, but it doesn't have to. Even the tallest tower begins with a single brick. Now we come to the heart of the conversation. Is Traore's vision really about building a city? Or is it about building an identity? Many of his critics, especially Western analysts, accuse him of using development theater to distract from real issues: displacement, terrorism, food insecurity. They say the renders are fake, the speech is exaggerated, the social media content nothing but clever propaganda. But to millions of Pan-African youth, the opposite feels true. They argue, finally, someone is speaking our language. Someone is daring to imagine Africa not as a land of crisis, but of creativity and control. Whether it's real or symbolic, the idea of an African city rising from red Sahelian soil, funded and designed by Africans, is incredibly powerful. So is this a scam, a dream, or both? The truth may lie somewhere in the middle. Traore's city is unlikely to appear as a trillion-dollar metropolis tomorrow, but parts of it, solar villages, new schools, worker cooperatives, agro-tech centers, are starting to take shape. Not through foreign aid, but through a cultural shift that puts dignity before dependency. And in the realm of nation-building, that shift is just as valuable as steel or seam. To avoid hype, let's focus on what's real. As of mid-2025, Burkina Faso has begun. 3 new housing zones on the outskirts of Ouagadougou, targeting low-income families. A solar training center in Bobo Dioulasso, aiming to produce 5,000 skilled technicians annually. A community-led market hub for local goods, designed by youth architects under a government design contest. Green brick factories, using local clay and low-energy techniques to replace expensive imported cement. A digital literacy initiative, equipping over 300,000 students with tablets and coding skills. None of this costs $1 trillion, but none of it is fake either. These are seeds, small, scattered, but real.